Okay, you're good.
Okay, it is February 8th, 2021. This is a meeting of the Hanson Recreation Commission. The time is, according to my
36.
6:36. Thank you. In attendance are myself, John Zuko, Vice Chair.
Melissa Scartesi.
Joan Frazzetti. Brian.
Brian Frazette. Brian?
He's muted. You're Brian.
Brian, you're muted.
Not
He's eating.
anymore. Nobody
Brian
will mute
Frazzetti.
me.
And Dory Jameson, our administrative assistant.
Here.
Okay, so first on the, this is an open meeting being via Zoom, and it's being recorded, I suspect. Is that correct, Dory?
Yes,
Or-
Melissa's recording
Melissa
it.
got
Yeah.
Okay. First on the agenda is the approval of the January 25th, 2021 open session minutes. Everyone have a chance to read those?
I did.
I say
Motion to
so.
accept the minutes from January 25th, 2021.
Okay, Brian has motioned to accept the minutes. We have a second.
Second.
Second from Joan. All in favor, John Zukos is an aye.
Joan is an aye.
Melissa, I.
Brian Frazzetti, aye.
Brian is an aye. So we, minutes are,
Nope, John's frozen.
21.
There you go.
So who's taking the lead on this?
So me and Dory can kind of talk about it.
Okay.
So we had a meeting of the few volunteers. We went to, we had a call last week, and then Saturday we met up at the camp at around 1 o'clock. And we kind of did a walkthrough, placement of where the stations are going to be, kind of where things are going.
Mhm.
We did get 12 volunteers.
Wow.
From the National Honor Society. Dory was able to get those kids to sign up. So I actually started it was a Genius sign up page, so we can assign where people are going to go, and we're going to have a station. We're going to have the cabins lit up. The south end are going to be decorated. Then we're going to have the hot chocolate station up in front of the lodge with the fire pit. And then the story walk will be, you take the path right by the arts and crafts cabin and kind of loop around that way. And I think, yeah, and everything is sold out. So all the tickets are sold
Oh, good.
at this point.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Do we have
awesome.
enough decorators for the cabins?
Yeah, I think, Dory, what did we say? I think we're gonna, well, we talked through it on Saturday. We have at least 10 that are gonna be decorated.
That's awesome.
That's total. Yeah, Dory, I can go off with you because we talked about the caretakers starting to decorate those this week.
Yeah.
And kind of getting decorations of what we need and all that.
Yeah. That'll be great. 10 will be good because there's like 11 cabins that are kind of snuggled together. So
Yeah.
10 would be wonderful.
They're gonna enter, so they're gonna enter kind of like from the
11?
yeah.
Yeah.
No, kind of. Yes, I think by 11.
Cabin 11. Yeah.
Yeah, but the first two, like on the left,
Yeah.
we're not going to decorate those because they're kind of like not within sight line. So it's
Yeah.
more like the cabins, like if you're facing the fire pit, so you'll
Yep.
be on the right and left.
Yep. Perfect. Excellent.
Sounds good.
So
Yeah.
Great.
details are coming together, and yeah, I think we should be good.
Am I going to be on the deck?
Yeah, we thought we'd
Lodge.
set you up near the lodge, John.
Okay. Yep. So anyway, that's fine.
Yep.
Okay.
Because we,
It's going to be 60 degrees, right?
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
you're gonna
Bring your suntan lotion.
have.
Oh, do we have a snow date? What happens if it snows? Since
We
people
don't.
Getting creamed.
It's-
No. Okay.
And
'Cause
20.
it's-
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Sounds good. Okay. Next up is Drama Kids Day Camp for July 2021. Dory did send info on that. Dory, do you want to take the lead on that?
Yes, sure. So yeah, Drama Kids are thinking of doing a day camp, 2 weeks in July. They originally thought July 12th and July 19th, but they're thinking maybe July 19th and July 26th, which would be great. Monday through Friday, 9 to 2 each day. I'll be there. So there's no extra cost. And she told me she had done it before with the 80-20 split. I mean, that would make sense to me. But that's what she said they had done before, and they did the 80-20 split. And she said it was very successful. I'm not quite sure when she did it before, but I think that'd be ideal.
Yeah.
Obviously, the restrictions right now, I mean, she's going to have to play it by year. With
Absolutely.
you know what I mean? But it's not till
Oh,
July. So.
Absolutely. Right. Exactly. Dependent upon COVID restrictions.
Right.
Do we need to vote on that?
I think so.
Okay. Can we get a motion to approve the Drama Kids having a day camp either July 12th or 19th or the 19th through the 26th? Brian, you have a question?
You're on mute, Brian.
Foolish thing. Is that much like the Scouts one? Do we have to have a nurse there for medications or no? Or is this a completely different thing because they are an 80-20 function? Does anybody know?
They had it last year, but they ran it after their regular session, so I'm not sure. But we don't need nurses or anything like that, or doctors or anything. It's just it's just a regular event like the others, like anything else is, like yoga or any of them.
I can, and I can confirm that, with Gil at the Board of Health.
Yeah, because I know a lot of things have changed, and I'd rather be on the safe.
Yeah.
Either way, I would say, what is it? The 19th and the 26th.
Yeah, and they're probably going to
what
change it to the 19th and the 26th.
Yeah.
Yep, those 2 weeks.
Okay.
All right, so the motion out to allow the Drama Kids to rent the cabins or camp or whatever they need to do from February 19th up through the week of February 26th.
Correct.
July 26th.
July. I'm sorry, I'm looking above it on February.
July 12th to
July
19th or the
26th.
19th and 26th. Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Second.
Okay, second, I'll approve. John Zago, aye.
Joan Frizzetti, aye.
Melissa, I.
Brian Frizzetti, aye.
Motion is approved. Next up is the discussion on the insurance claim for the damaged cabin. And Dory sent that out. So Dory, you can take the lead on that again if you like.
Yeah, absolutely. So we finally did get the breakdown on that. So I think the discussion for tonight is are we going to replace the cabin or not? And I did find out definitely that if we don't replace the cabin and we have that money, the $19,655, we can do whatever we want with it. The insurance company they've done their thing. They've given us the money, and it's up to the town to do what they want with it. We don't have to build another cabin. We can, but we don't have to. We can use it for anything that the town decides we can use it for. We could fill, like he said, you can fill potholes if you want, not that we would. So I think that's a definite discussion on, are we set on replacing the cabin, or are we set on using the money in the south end on the cabins or on the sign, or so many things we could use it for. So that's definitely up to you guys to think what you want to do.
Brian, you have a question?
Yep. Dory, I don't know how deep you've got into this. Is this something that the Recreation Commission is going to be allowed to be tasked with, or are we going to have to, we'll say, be given oversight by the Board of Selectmen on top of it?
I would imagine it's probably on Board of Selectmen approval, what we decide to do with the money. Like typically with every vote, that you take.
Right, and where is this money? I know Brian and I have talked quite a bit about that cabin, and the cabin next to it is the pregnant one that can't be used anyways.
Yeah.
So we were going to propose to the Recreation Commission, or whoever we have to propose it to, would be to leave that cabin that is no good because the one next to it couldn't be rented anyways. Jack that up, get that stump out from underneath there with the pregnant one, put a new subfloor in. And we don't know what that would cost us because it needs new footings and everything else. So it's not going to be, a $2,000 deal. You'll probably be looking at, between jacking it up and then taking the stump out of the middle and all that stuff, you're probably still talking a good $7-8 grand roughly. That's just throwing it out there.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that's a cabin we weren't renting. So you're really not, if you don't replace it, you're not really losing one because you lost one anyways.
Yeah.
And that was kind of Brian's thought process. And then because we have so many facilities things that needs to be done, one being the sign up by the road.
Right.
One being security system, one being, and we don't know if we're going to come in the budget line with the Stover job or not yet. We're still all trying to figure that out. So, I don't know what the, commission itself thinks about it. But that was kind of, between talking to me and Brian, he said, well, we don't rent it out anyways. So why spend another, I think they cost about 17 grand to throw in.
Yeah.
And then we still have a cabin down.
Right. Right.
So I don't know what the commission thinks.
Well, right now you got two down because you got the one that got knocked over and then the pregnant one, as you guys call it, right?
Correct. Right.
Okay, so you're gonna, no matter how you look at it, you're still gonna have two down, unless you take the one that's pregnant and move it into the spot of the one that got taken down with new bases, and then worry, and then just leave the pregnant one like it is until we can afford to do it.
What we were going to do was repair that one. We were going to repair that one, Mom.
Right, and make it
instead of
make it usable. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it's going to cost us some money to make it usable.
Would it be cheaper to move it to the location of the other one or to fix it?
It would probably fall apart. Because when you get it jacked up, you're going to have four corners in the middles, and they're just going to bring it straight up.
Okay.
And then they're going to come underneath it and try to, whatever's pushing up on there, they're going to try to cut out of there with a machine. And then you drop it, you put new footings on, so that way everything's nice and tight. Then you take the floor out and put a new floor base in.
An official quote to do that, Brian, to fix that cabin? Or was
Not yet, no. We've just kind of eyeballed it. We wanted to know whether you wanted to go with the direction of maybe repairing that one and just leaving it, and then we have extra money for other things we need to do, or if you want us to price out a whole new cabin, which last time we priced it out, I was about 16 grand.
Wow.
They're not cheap.
I mean, I feel like we don't have much we don't have any money to do anything. I mean, our budget's gonna be cut. We don't have extra money. I mean, this is kind of freeing up money that we place to do other things that we really need.
Yeah.
So I think repairing that other cabin is a smart thing to do, and then use the rest of the funds. We can put it somewhere else,
Yeah.
The security system is huge, because we're not going to get money from anything else.
And
yeah, well, sorry.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. I was just going to say, and you can use all the money. You can, choose not to repair the cabin and then use all the money, for other things as well. Just so you're aware of the options.
The only reason why I'd go after repairing that is because if we say we're down one cabin now, I think if we're saying that the Board of Cabin is the Board of Selectmen is absolutely doing oversight, they're going to want to see a cabin up. They're not going to want to see two cabins down. They're going to want a rental there and, a fixed rental. And I think Brian was talking about maybe talking to Gordon. Is that his name?
Yeah.
The general contractor that we used to see what he would get to lift that up, put a new foundation in to drop it back down on it, what he would do to the floor. We're not going to know exactly what's going on until that thing's raised a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we might have to call that stump guy back in, or Gordon might have a couple of guys with chainsaws that might be able to just cut that stump out of there.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
We
Absolutely.
need to look further into it.
Yeah.
Joe, do you have a question?
Yeah, my only question is that according to the note here, I think we have 2 years to work on that. And so it's not something that has to be done right away, but we can put plans into effect of
Well-
what we want to do.
Yes, the 2 years is for that money, the 4,571.32. You
Yeah.
have 2 years. You could get that if you're going to replace the cabin.
Mhm.
That is additional funds, and then you have to do it within 2 years.
Okay,
So it depends on which way we do want to go. And I know Gordon did say if he builds a whole new cabin from scratch, it may have to be handicapped accessible. So moving that pregnant cabin to that other location, that sounds smart, because then you're not building a whole new cabin. I think building a whole new cabin now is going to be a little bit more intricate than it was before. Handicap. I don't know how it's handicapped accessible though. How would you get up there anyway? But that's something he mentioned to me.
Okay, so we're basically, the general consensus is that we want to keep one of the cabins.
Repair the one that's
Repair
there.
one, then use the rest of the money for
I think
other things.
that's the best. But I mean, I would say that we would probably want to get some quotes, right? We have to bid it out to 3 different.
Yeah, we would absolutely get quotes. Absolutely.
Yep.
Yep. I'd get a scope of work and then we'd bid it out to 3, solicit 3 quotes.
Okay, any further discussion on this?
Want to start that process of getting a statement of work together?
Mhm.
Yeah. So just so that I'm clear, so now we're moving the pregnant one over the existing cabin over to no,
No,
We're
we're gonna
gonna
jack it up.
Nope, just fix.
yeah,
you're gonna jack it up and fix it.
the existing cabin at the existing location,
Right.
and leave the missing cabin. Just leave it
Yes.
Yeah.
missing. Okay.
I have another question on that. You know how we have 3 cabins on the north end that we need to move? Is there any way would that one will fit through to go into that empty space of where the broken one? No. Okay. All right. I got Brian shaking his head.
In cabins.
We already measured that out.
Yeah.
Okay.
That scares me.
Okay,
Yeah, well, the biggest thing that we were gonna do was the thought process was to get those cabins off the hill and pull them in away from the hill. There's just no room. You got trees in the way and everything else. If the trees weren't there, we could do it. Me and Brian have looked into it. We talked to Chris when he was there. He thought he might be able to do it, but it's just they're already down the hill. So, if anything, we'd put new footings in before we tried to move them.
okay.
Okay.
So next on the agenda is discussion.
So
of-
I'm sorry, Brian. I'm sorry. Just before we move on. So
Go ahead.
then all we're doing is then for the scope of work is just taking the existing cabin, jacking it up, removing the stump that's underneath, and then placing the cabin back down in the exact same location.
Yep,
Yeah, you'd
Okay.
put new footings in, a new
Yep.
floor, and then drop it down where it
Okay.
presently is, and obviously it would be up to code. And then you wouldn't have to go with the ADA
Right.
compliant, which you couldn't
Right.
anyways. It's too far
know.
up there.
Exactly. Okay. So if you wouldn't mind taking a vote on that, I can get going on it.
okay. Who wants to make the motion on that?
What cabin number is that? Do we know?
That is number 16.
Okay, so.
Oh, no,
what-
16 is the damaged one. So we're talking about the one next to it. So, no, 15. 15 is the one that's missing now. So we're talking cabin. You talking to the one to the right if you're looking at the cabin? Or the
If
one
I'm
to the
looking
left?
at it would be the one to the left, the one with the pregnant one that's
The
sealed
pregnant
up.
one is the one to the left. Okay, so that's cabin number 14.
14, okay.
Yeah.
So I guess we can do a motion to, for now, to get quotes and estimates on repairing that cabin,
Yep.
which
14.
would include lifting it up, pricing out the new foundation, laying the subfloor, cutting the stump out, and then from there, moving forward. Once we get the quotes in, we take a vote on the quotes and then move forward for Board of Selectmen approval.
Yep.
That sound
Yeah.
right?
Can I get a second?
Second.
Second from Melissa. All in favor, say aye. John Zuko is an aye.
Joan Fazzetti, aye.
Melissa, I.
Ryan Frazetti, aye.
Okay, the motion has passed.
Do we need to mention the fact that we're using insurance money? So that they know that we're not looking out elsewhere for monies?
I'll put that in the vote, Joan. Good
Mhm,
point.
Okay,
Thank you. All right.
okay, next is discussion on the CPC article submission.
Could I take that?
Yeah, you should say, yeah. Mhm.
Okay, so so I know that it was a vote in 2015 at the annual town meeting. And I know
Mhm.
it was for, for North End cabin repairs. And we have a little bit over $26,000 left in it. So I think the article read for North End cabin repairs. So I know we were trying to get, once the spring comes, Gordon, Lincoln back in. And I think the idea was to shutter the cabins, with like wooden shutters as opposed to the screens that the kids can rip and all that. So I think that was the idea on that. But while speaking with the town administrator, and he just mentioned that, there was maybe to request another article. I know we still have that money left in an existing article from 2015. So I put it on the agenda tonight for you to decide, do we not want to ask for, one thought process is, do we not want to ask for more money because we haven't spent this out? Or do we, if the time is right, and continue on with this north end and then doing the same thing with the cabins on the south end? I just figured it was worthy of discussion.
Any discussion? Brian?
Yeah, you and I talked about, I think I emailed you a little bit about this, didn't I, Dory?
Yes.
And my only concern is with CPC, we gave them, I don't know if everybody remembers, we gave them a good chunk of change back because we weren't spending it. We were just sitting on it. But the way the article was written, it's just so like north end only.
Yes,
You know,
north
we
end.
can't use it for the south end. We can't use it for, the cabin that's behind the north end. We can't use it for, so we just stuck north end. I think if somehow we can get an estimate from Gordon, this is my personal thing. I have no problem with trying to go for some more money from CPC.
Mm-hmm.
But if we can get a price from Gordon on what it would cost to shutter that whole north end, like the south end is right now, the south end's all shuttered. If we can get a price from them, that way CPC knows that at least we're looking at this, and that we're going to spend the money, and that the money's going to be allocated out, to take care of the north end, then I'd feel a little more confident that the town will support us with getting more money from CPC.
Yeah.
And then with CPC, you have to be very specific with what exactly do you want it for. And I know you can't do bedding for the cabins or anything like that. So what do we want it for? Do we want it for to add a volleyball court? Do we want to clear up the tent sites? Do we want to, I believe landscaping can be covered as part of it. I know they're very, very particular. Diane would obviously have a much better scope than I would. Then that's the only thing is they're very particular about the way they want the warrants written. When it comes to the camp, like when we got the grant for the docks, I know Diane did it with one of the ladies from the CPC. But I'm game for asking for more money before, because it's only going to go to Plymouth County Hospital at some point anyway. So we might as well grab it before they do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There, you got something in.
Right. I think it's just a matter of coming up with, again, some type of an estimate of what it's going to cost us. And then we can go to CPC and say, look, this is what we're going to do with the north end. We just have to wait for better weather. But in the interim, we also would like to move forward with other projects.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know how much money the shuttering will cost, but is there any way to secure those 3 cabins so that they don't fall down the hill? Is there any way for us to fix that wall that's behind them so that the earth doesn't keep going?
Yeah, Brian was going to talk to Gordon also about what the new pilings would cost on some of the ones that aren't up to code per se. So we have that all ready to go. It's just a matter of having another site visit and getting things on. We'd have to pull Gordon in, we'd have to pull someone else in. 2 to 3 bids. We're going to have to get in there, so that way again, we're showing that we're not showing favoritism to one person, even though we can do all the work, you know. But I think the shutter job is going to cost quite a bit, and then we might get 1 or 2 cabins footings done with, you know, after that, because to get them done, you got to jack them up, and it's going to take time and money.
Yeah. Why don't I get ask Gordon to come in and give us a price on what he thinks it would be to shutter, you know, the rest of the, you know, the north end. Then we'd know, and then from there we'd know what to ask for whatever funds, if we had remaining funds for anything else we wanted done.
Right. And right now, did you have anything in particular that you that we wanted to go after for something from CPC, Dory, on your mind?
Well, I was just thinking like that, you know, that cabin that's like next to the Frontier cabin, it has no front door, no stairs, no back door. I was thinking of, you know, reconstructing that cabin so that could be useful, because that's just, you know, an eyesore right now.
That's a screen cabin.
Is that
The
big
screen
screen
cabin?
Yeah.
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 And I know the Frontier cabin needs some work on as far as the wood stove and the front door. There's some holes, you know, like in the cabin. Even in the pavilion and the front steps and the south end going in, there's holes there, and in the door. I mean, there's a lot of repairs, you know, that could be done in the cabins that I think, you know, to shutter them, secure them, fix them. I think if we knew what a price, if we knew, then we'd know what this 26,000 means that we have left. If we knew what,
Right.
if Gordon comes in and says, okay, oh, this is going to cost this is going to cost this, and then we could have a better idea of knowing what to ask for.
Right. I mean, we know, you know, between me, Brian, and taking a walkthrough with Chris, we can easily suck up that $26,000. That's easy.
Right. Right.
But then to write an article that you'd almost have to blanket statement the article, so that way it's not just like what you said, you know, the screen house, which is really nice, that's got torn apart, doors has been kicked through and all that other stuff. That's going to require a lot of work. So we're going to have to get some estimates on that one, especially.
Yeah.
Because that one's kind of beat up.
Yes.
The stove has always been an issue in that cabin for some reason.
Yeah.
That's the one next to the screen house, right?
Exactly.
I thought that was fixed. What is it? The chimney that's all messed up on that thing?
Yeah, the chimney. Exactly. So, yep. Yeah.
There's the perfect lady to ask about CPC.
There we go. So our chair, Diane Cohen, has joined, and
Hi,
we're talking
Diane.
about the CPC article submission.
Hi, I'm sorry. Where are we? Sorry, article submission?
Yep.
I thought we
CPC
weren't submitting an article.
That's why it's on the agenda, just to determine whether we do want to or not want to. Because just after conversations with the town administrator, he said that you would know, but he said that they have a lot of money that they're looking to spend. So I felt I needed to bring it to your attention that that's the information that I received.
Yeah,
So
we do have a lot of money. And it's been a good thing. But again, we still have $27,000 from the North End project that we haven't used. And
right.
we're going on over 5 years with that. And they're not inclined. Every time we have a meeting, they ask an update on pending projects, on current projects. And I have to tell them, no, we're not done with it yet. They either want to close it out or they want us to return the money. So we can be done, but I would really like to spend the $27,000 on shutters, on extra screening, and you know, anything else that needs updating in those cabins, like if the new steps on the screen house, or any doors that need to be replaced, any locks, any hinges, anything that we need to purchase to maintain those cabins comes under that grant. So
That's actually, we just discussed all that. Yeah.
So I don't want to go to CPC with an article until we've spent that money. That's just my opinion. If you guys vote to do it, that's fine. But I guarantee you the discussion will come up with then bring back the other money, and because that's what
Well-
happened with the docks.
We were just thinking that that definitely makes definite sense. And then the other thought we had was if we had Gordon in and we said, okay, we need that $26,760 to do this, but what we'd really like to do is this. So we're going to spend that money. And if we submit another article and if we could get another 50 grand, I'm just throwing it out there, we'd do the whole entire North End. So at least they'd see us moving forward on the 26,000 that we're just sitting on, moving forward with that.
Doing the whole entire North End, what are we talking about?
I don't know. That's why we thought we're just talking about getting Gordon in and getting some prices so that we know what we're talking about. Because right now, I
Can
don't.
ask, were you talking about the chimney in the Frontier cabin?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm pretty sure the grant can be used for that.
Yes. Repairs of the North End.
So
Yep.
if we need to repair that,
Yeah.
we can use up that money for that.
Yeah. Yes.
That could take up a significant chunk of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure what, I mean, I know I've talked to the chimney people and the building inspector and they're all talking the spring, to come out and look at that. But, yeah, it's just an opportunity that I didn't want to let pass. If it's a matter of spending the 26,000, which it is, the way I see it, we could play it two ways. We could not submit an article and we could spend the 26,000, or we could submit an article and say 26,000 that we have is great because we're going to use it for this, and we really need another 40 grand because this would do the whole. It's just when I heard that the CPC is looking to fund, I just wanted to jump on it.
Well,
I had to bring it to your attention.
It's looking to fund, but the feeling of it will be that, well, could you just finish this? Like if it was a year old, that's one thing.
Oh, I know.
Going on
2015.
Brian, I see your hand. Hold on. I just think that also when we write those grants, we have to know exactly what we're writing it for. And is this this town meeting in May?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have until the. Mhm.
Sorry, go ahead, Dory.
No, I was just gonna say we have until the middle of March. It's not that we'd wait that long, but to submit an article.
If we could, I think the 27,000 could really be well used for the chimney and extra materials. I don't think the chimney is going to cost more than $20,000, and I'm sure $7,000 would get us plenty of doors, hinges, locks, and screening. That's just my feeling on it. If we're going to put in for an article, I would really like it, and this is just my feeling, for the gatehouse. Because that thing has been laying dormant for how many years? And the last time we had anybody look at it was I had my friends look at it, and that really was about 4 or 5 years ago. There was not a lot of separation of the chimney from the foundation and from the walls, but those things can happen over more and more time, and then they get more expensive. That's me.
Yeah.
You see another need for something in these cabins? Because I'm really thinking to increase camping and everything, we would need things like electrical so people can plug things in, and that's huge. And I don't know what else. So Brian, I'm sorry, go ahead, Dory.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, what about shuttering the cabins in the North End? That's something that I know we want to do.
Absolutely, we do want to shutter them.
Why don't we just make,
Is that going to cost $10,000?
why don't we make a list for Gordon? Just make a list and then he prices out each thing individually. And then
Right.
That's what I want to see. I want to see how much each individual thing is
Right.
how much we can use up of that 26,000 or whatever it is, 26, whatever. And
Exactly.
that will include the the chimney, the screening, extra materials, labor, everything, because we can pay Gordon to do those things.
Right. And if we know what we're looking at, we know what we can ask for. Exactly.
And so we don't know what we can ask for. If we all of a sudden spend
Right.
that money by the end of March, great.
I think if we need it, we definitely need the plan in place. Exactly what we're doing. We're going to spend that money, and then we also want to do this.
Right.
In my mind, is no harm in asking if we have a solid plan of spending the existing funds.
If
Yeah.
we have a solid plan that says
Yeah.
by the end of April or by the end of May, this grant will be closed out, all of the funding will have been spent.
Right.
Then I'm comfortable going to them for another project.
Right. Exactly.
But when we go to that next project, we also have to be prepared to answer the question of, are you seeking any other sources of funding? Because they don't like to 100%. CPC will not 100% fund a project unless we're looking for funding from other places as well. So if there is some kind of another grant we could get, and I didn't know if Deb Petty was on that or if we were looking for anything COVID related or what.
Yeah, well, Deb and I are working on another grant. I was going to talk about it later on in the department head update, but there is, we're looking at something else. But as far as repairs, for a grant for repairs to the cabin, I don't know. I'll look into it.
Looking at, I think.
Yeah.
So I think the first step is to get a comprehensive list of what we can be done, how much it will cost. What do you think, Gordon, is the best way to spend this money?
Exactly. Yep. Perfect.
Ron, go ahead.
Yep. As a matter of fact, we were just talking about this before you came on, and $26,000 is easy enough to spend. All it would probably take is one site visit, and then it would be a matter of Gordon coming up with some prices. The shutter job alone is going to be a lot of money because the price of lumber's gone through the roof and things like that. So the shutter job is a pretty big job. We were talking about prior to hearing about the chimney, Brian and I had talked about some of those cabins are ready to tip. So we want to get the new, the new sauna tubes down there and stuff like that. So we could easily suck up that 26,000. What it would take is a site visit with Gordon, me, Brian, and Dory.
Yep.
And we'll, if we can get, and the thought process, if you wanted to go to CPC again, would be get it and write it from Gordon. This is what you need. How much plywood you need? 2x4s, locks, all that stuff.
Right.
This is how much the sauna tubes cost and all that. Then we can say, this is what we have planned for that 26 grand. We haven't spent it yet because it's winter.
Right.
But this is where it's going to, and then we lock it in. Then that would give us the additional room to say, okay, now we want to look at the screen house. We want to look at the chimney, because the chimney is going to cost a fortune, but I think that's out of Gordon's realm.
Yeah.
You might need a specific chimney person, but nothing will stop us. We could always call the chimney person in now and say, how much to fix this thing, replace it, tear it down, whatever it takes. And he could come out and say, it's going to cost you 23,000, and your problem solved just on just the chimney.
Right.
Well, I'm not, I don't want to go to them.
It could go either way, but
I don't want to go to them until I can say, here is our 100%
right.
solid plan on how to spend the rest of this money. And it's going to happen. We've secured a contractor. We have secured the materials and blah, blah, blah. And now we are finishing that up. It will be done by such and such a date. I want to be able to say that obviously there are no guarantees in life, but death and taxes. But other than that, I want to be able to say, here it is.
Why don't I put all that together and then have it on your next agenda in 2 weeks?
Fine.
And then you can vote on it at that time. Okay.
Hey, Dory.
Yes.
Brian wanted to know, because I don't know when Gordon's been there, when he hasn't. He wants to know if we can get a site visit from Gordon anyways.
Yeah.
Some morning, obviously through you, because, we go by whatever your schedule is. And we might be able to cover all this all in one shot going through a
Okay.
site visit. And we could talk,
Yeah.
because Brian was wondering about the price on the inside walls that Gordon
Yes.
wants to do for the
Yes.
colder weather. And then we
Okay.
wanted to talk about the north end and spend the money. And then we can have another visit to call someone in on the chimney. At least we'll have the prices.
Okay,
What do
good.
you
Why don't I
what do
call
you
Gordon
mean
and set up a
inside
morning
wall?
site visit for us? Yeah.
What do you mean inside walls? Sorry.
They were gonna he was looking to what?
The inside walls of the lodge, Diane, below, you know how the floors came out so good? He was
Yeah.
gonna do that, in below the windows in the whole lodge. He's
Okay.
gonna do that. He's also planning on, I've been in touch with him. It's just been the weather and he's busy, but he's also wants to come out and do the, remember, he's gonna take on the outer deck, back deck, he's gonna take that lower beam off and make it an archway.
Yes.
And he's going to do that, and he's going to do the the inner walls of the lodge, and he's going to walk the north end, and I'll to look at the cabin. So I'll set that up.
I have a question. I don't know exactly how the lodge is built. If it's even possible, but is there any space between the outside walls of the lodge and the inside walls of the lodge to consider blowing in insulation?
Yeah, I don't know. Certainly that's a good question. I'll ask a question for Gordon, I think.
I'd like to know what it would take to possibly lower the heating bills in some way in there.
Yeah.
Diane, can you get Mass Save to come?
Yes, but yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. We've had Mass Save in for the lighting and all of that, but I don't even know if they talked about insulation. Like, what about from the basement under the floor? Is there insulation up there, like in the basement ceiling, with maybe some strapping or something to hold it in? Do we have any, is there anything we could do up in the attic? Because I know there's some empty space up there where you can kind of see down or see outside. I mean, I really want to see what it's going to take to lower the operational cost of that in the long term.
And if I may just say, there actually is a grant regarding that coming up. And I had Chris Collins come in, and he is the person that was really led the whole LED lighting.
Okay.
And he came in and we looked at the windows and the windows in the lodge, and he thought that something could be done there, and he took some pictures. And so I put him in touch with Deb Petty, and there's a grant coming up just for that. So we are actually we're working on that. If there's anything we can do, any funds we can get for that.
Any funds for just windows or any kind of energy conservation?
Deb was saying any kind of energy conservation. And when Chris Collins was there, he said, okay, great. He said, I took him downstairs, I took him up in the basement, and he took pictures of the windows. So then I put the two of them together. So I think we're going to be able to get something out of this.
Okay, that would be great.
Yeah.
Great, but we have to be careful because we are still bound by the Historical Society regulations.
Yep.
So that is always going to have to be consideration, especially with the lodge.
Yeah.
Not much with the cabins, obviously, but the lodge.
Right. And he did, Chris Collins, and they did the LED lighting for being green community status.
Okay.
So, yeah. So,
yeah, if Gordon or whatever, when you can get a site visit.
Yep.
Ask him about all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brian?
On the insulation part, that's something that we want to talk about probably after, not an open session, kind of on the side, so to speak, and bring Ed into it. You might find some issues with some areas of the cellar. So it's something that Brian and I have talked about it, but the problem is you're talking delineation and all types of good stuff to go with that. So that's something we might be able to talk to Ed about, because he's been there long enough. He knows this place front and back. Maybe when Gordon comes up for a site visit, we can have Ed scheduled that day too.
Yeah.
And then you have everybody think about the camp together, and then we can bring up the insulation at that time.
Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be a problem doing blown insulation, but you also have electrical wiring that Brian and I haven't figured out yet. Do we have to go knob and tube up the walls, or can we go in through the walls? With a building that's old, it's just hard to say what it's made out of.
I'm hoping to
And what's
God
left
that,
over
that
from-
we're getting rid of knob and tube and not putting any in.
Well, not the knob. I'm sorry. I mean the piping. Take the knob and tube
all right.
out. You might have to go with the piping, but then we have to check into, will PVC piping handle the load of electrical, or do you have to go with the aluminum metal type? So there's a lot of stuff that Brian and I have been kind of working on, but we haven't come out fully to the commission because we want to make sure that we give you a full scope rather than, well, maybe this,
Yep.
well, maybe that, well, maybe this. So when we finally do get the site visits out there, then we're going to give you the whole thing instead of, confusing everybody.
Okay. All right.
But all that's been thought about.
So
Yeah.
in summary, then, we will get a site visit, put this on our next agenda,
Mm-hmm.
and see where we stand on submitting a further CPC, another article for further repairs to the camp through CPC, right?
Perfect. Yep.
Next on the agenda, John, Macaroni Kid.
Macaroni Kid.
Is Juby here?
No,
No.
no.
Okay, so we'll put that off.
Yeah.
Scouts package, I have not heard back from the hitching post. So I'm a little annoyed by that, but I will reach out to them again. Do we know anything else?
No.
Other than the suggestions of different prices and different things to have that Melissa sent to Dory and Dory sent out, that's in our packet for this
Yeah,
week.
I can, so I just,
There's some good ideas in here. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
so
No, go ahead.
I like the way that they, some of these places, laid out their prices. It's very, they did like a type, like, Stony Brook, East Boston, they did a type 1, type 2. So they did, nonprofit was type 1, and then they had corporate as the, they had 2 points. And then there was a nice reservation form that I thought laid stuff out well. And the other thing too, the Camp Baker, building descriptions and fees. I like the way that this was a grid. And it had a description of each building, what
Yeah.
cost was per day. I just think that this is something we definitely need to put together if we're going to want to do, if people want to come and do camps here, I think we need to something of real description that shows our fees and rentals. So,
And there's even a Boy Scout one and a scouting one too, after that, Boy Scouts of America.
Yeah, from Oregon.
So that, those are good ideas on there, but some of them were not good, that we should adopt some of their ideas.
I do like the Northern Lights Council had like a grid, and it was basically listed out each cabin, the equipment included in each cabin, and every building, and then the occupancy, and then a weekend rate and a per weekend night or per weekday night rate,
Right.
which I thought was cool.
So maybe this is something we can work on, establishing. And then I think we also need to work on the group rates and all of that, like still a scouting package though. Because scouts are, to me, a separate entity rather than the general public.
Yeah.
And different than corporate,
Right, but there is a bunch here a bunch of pages that have all the different things for just strictly scouts, what they're looking for. And that's what you need to work with, is what they would be looking for to use the camp for.
Right.
So, like archery, you can, work it in there. So, and you charge them to teach them archery, different things like that. And you do it by what they're doing and not as opposed to just a blanket rate.
Well, the other thing is too, is that our staff, we have to guarantee staff,
Right.
to do these things. And our archery certified people are just Bill now because Colin's gone.
Oh, really? Okay.
Well, he's been hurt and I mean, he doesn't even live in Hanson right now. So we have to ensure that what we put on this, we're able to deliver.
Right.
So, so at least, I mean, we can at least start it with the scouts, because they don't really need our staff that much. They just need a person that works for the town and the camp on site. And maybe to do things like guided hikes, but other things we're gonna have to really look into.
Well, yeah, you'd have to have a lifeguard for them. So,
Right.
I mean, so you'd have to know, you would have to be guaranteed that they would be coming in at a certain time so that you could hire the lifeguards, because I mean, you're not gonna hire lifeguards if you don't need them.
I know,
And same thing with the nurse, you're gonna need a nurse on call. So,
right,
so I mean, you have to find out really what they want to see at the camp, and then work around that way. I mean, there's got to be at least one scout troop that might be looking for a place to camp out that would be more reasonable than some of the other ones that are out there already.
Right.
And then see what we can accommodate for them, and that way there we could get a price involved, and we could get what we would need to have to do for the scouts.
exactly.
So,
And that way, I think for this year, we need to do something and see how it goes. And then next year, when COVID is gone, we just hire. We do this with an optimistic view that we are going to get people. We are going to hire lifeguards. We are going to have staff that can teach, that can run, games, softball games, kickball games, whatever. And they can do the guided hike and do the arts and crafts and whatever else it takes.
But
I think
see what the Boy Scouts would need this year, I think, is talk to one of the groups. Now, one of the groups, what was it, from Pembroke, that had come to do some of their things back in, what was it, November?
Yeah, the thing is
Yeah.
that is that we have to be prepared to offer it, and we may take a loss in that first year, but we have to have it in place by January or February. And we have to secure it all and then present these plans to people. Yes, it's a risk, but we're going to have to take it if we really want to move the camp into the next level. Yes, Brian.
As part of the CPC funding, will they purchase things such as archery equipment, canoes, toboggans, paddle boats, stuff like that, whereas it's recreational?
It can fall under recreation. Yeah, I believe they will, but I have to check into that. It has to fall under recreation.
Right. So, I mean, we might be able to, that would be another article that could go in there, as we need things to offer people, because right now we really don't. And I don't know if we got rid of the canoes and the toboggans yet.
We have a lot of them that need to go, and we
Right.
need somebody, Dory, one of the caretakers, maybe we could give Maddie and Emily some hours and see which kayaks or canoes are viable for this year.
Mm-hmm.
Even if we don't use them, just the ones that are in good shape.
Yep.
And get rid of the other ones, because we're gonna have to put that through Board of Selectmen to get rid of them.
Yep.
So
Sure.
we
So
need.
we already did it. I thought we already got the kayaks and the canoes done, and when what's his name was there, she made a list and she gave exactly what it was, and I thought Chris took care of that along with the beds. When he took the beds, he also took, I thought, the canoes and the kayaks.
I don't know, but I would like to find out.
Okay, but I'm just saying that I think that was all taken care of at one point, but when, I can't even think of her name, but when Emma, when Emma was there, she did write how many, like the green kayak had to go. So she did. There is a sheet there.
I'm
can
not
try.
sure it came to fruition.
I'll have to see what was on her list. I think I have it in the
Okay,
other
Brian,
book.
go ahead. Brian, do you have something? You frozen, Brian? Yeah, I think he's frozen.
He He's upstairs, so I can't tell. There we go. He moved then.
Oh, you guys are moving again now. You froze up. Yeah, we already voted on that. It did get cleared through the Board of Selectmen to get rid of all that stuff. Billy had put it through to them and they approved it. It was just a matter of getting rid of it now.
Right, so we need to get rid of it. We still need caretakers to go down there and with the list and say, get rid of this stuff we keep, and then we know where we're
Right.
at and what we can ask for. So,
Yep.
It's really gonna take a concerted effort for me to put together, to work on this, putting together a scouts package. And I can honestly say, I'm probably not gonna have the time to do it until April vacation or the summer. So, I can work on that to offer it. I don't know where that leaves us this year with the troops that, Juby has connections with.
And contact them and see what they want, what they would need, and see what they would like for a camp. That's the easiest way to get through it for this year, I think, is to see what they need, so we would know how much we would have to provide. And then-
Okay, so Melissa, with the Girl Scouts, is it a possibility for some Girl Scout troops to want to use the camp or no?
Well, they are GSEMA, the Massachusetts, they are going ahead with in-person camp, their own camps
Okay,
for the summer. So I don't think that people are going to be looking for alternative locations.
okay, good. All right, so we know we have to work through the Boy Scouts. So we'll see what we can put together, and it may not happen this year. That's fine. But we do have to put it together for next year and present it early enough, and we have to see what we can offer. I also would like to see if we can use a CPC grant to maybe put some ropes courses, like low ropes courses and things like that. You know, things to do team building games with and structures like that, more permanent structures throughout the camp.
Yeah. And why don't I call, his name escapes me, who we had this past summer, and just find out, like, Joan just said, what do they need? What are they looking for? Why don't I contact, his name escapes me.
Don't contact him until you get his name.
Yeah, but when I find it, when I can remember his name, why don't I call him and just see what he has to say? The scouts that were here this past summer.
Go back to the November meetings.
Gene Santorelli, right?
Santorelli, yep,
Why don't I contact him and just
that'd be great.
let's see where that leads. Okay.
All right, so moving on, the 2022 budget.
I just put that on there in case, Diane, there's anything you want, I just wanted to say or not say, just on there just in case. I didn't have anything in, specifically.
Well, I mean, our budget is what our budget is.
Yeah.
We've cut it as much as we can, right?
I have a proposal for drastic budget cuts. I did talk to the town administrator today about it, and it's always fluid. It's so it's to come up with an exact number isn't always prudent this early on. We're prepared for it. I think we're prepared for the worst, and I think we'll just see where it goes.
Did he seem to think we were prepared enough?
Well, I told him what I had done and prepared for, and he was going to talk to the town accountant, and I don't know. I don't think I think we definitely are. I don't know how severely we might not even have to do those deep cuts, but if we do, we can.
Okay.
We have a plan, and he was, it's ongoing, and he was going to talk to the town accountant tomorrow, and I don't think anything's been. I've heard some numbers, but they haven't been made public yet.
Right.
The deep cuts that we're going to take for the town of Hanson. So I, obviously not, going to say anything, but we are prepared for, whatever measure we need to take. So I think he was pleased by that.
Okay, good. It's going to get very ugly.
I think it is.
And I wish people would understand that this is not about I'm gonna be very quick here. This is not about the budget that we were unprepared or anything. Our battle is not with Whitman. Will never get to agree with us. They have 3 people on the school committee versus our 2. They will always get the better say, the better vote. Our battle is with DESE to go back to the old formula,
Right.
and they're not going to want to deal with it. They're going to say, just come up with it on your own, which leaves our own. We have 2 options. We either suck that budget up for the next however many years, or you go out on your own, like Pembroke did. That's the only thing that's going to happen in this town. Those are our 2
Right.
options. But anyway, okay. So do we have any correspondence?
The only correspondence I'd like to remind everyone is that from the town clerk's office, you just have to, it doesn't take long at all. If you just quickly go on to the ethics website, I can send you out tomorrow the website again if you like.
Yeah.
It's not due until the 15th of February. But if you just do that quickly, Melissa, you got an A+, Melissa did it. But if you do that and just get your certificate, and if you send it to me, I'll file it all with the town clerk.
Do I have to, can I just send you the one I took at school, or does it have to be a new one?
Yeah, it has to be a new one.
All right.
It's quick though, right, Melissa? Isn't it painless?
I wouldn't say that. It's
You taking the 5th?
So it's, you
Okay.
go through it, you write down the right answers, and then you log on again and you take it and you just do it in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
We did it.
Right.
we did it when we first do it.
But the first time around is the longest time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it in 2016.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's time again to do that. So
All
that's my only, just to
That link,
remind you. What's that?
send the link again.
Yes, just I'll send the link out tomorrow morning, okay?
Great,
Sorry.
thanks.
And it's not due till the 15th.
I want to ask, I got an email from you today, but it went to my school email.
Oh, really? From me?
Yeah. Like I printed all of my stuff because it came in on a school email.
Oh. How?
I
I
didn't
don't,
know you had my school email.
no, as far as I know, I've just the one email address I've always used,
Sometimes,
right?
sometimes
I don't know.
or like if Diane, if you sent an email or something from your school,
Oh,
because sometimes like if you start to type it, I've done that before, and you click it on, and it's an email address. It remembers you. I don't know.
Yeah, it's more of a, we're all being watched.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Team reports. Did we already go through Brian and Brian Smith's? How was the meeting with Samantha Ken and all that?
Who was at the gazebo?
Yeah.
Yeah, we met with her the other day. She's gonna see what she can do about drawing up some blueprints from us, because she was looking to build like a 20 by 16 out front there, which Brian thought was a bit overwhelming. So she's gonna draw us up some designs. What we kind of leaned towards was a rectangular design, so you can fit equipment up there. There's like during the summer you can do concerts or whatever, but you can also take photos and whatnot with the brides, because it'll almost mimic what the back deck looks like, because we talked to her about
Good.
using the special wood rather than 2x4s and all that.
Mhm.
Well, that's what Brian
We're
and I.
looking at, yeah, and we talked about a forward entering gate that closes and latches, so you can't tell that there's a gate there, in case you want to take pictures on one side, and there'll be a gate on the other side, and on the side there'll be an ADA compliant ramp with stones coming from the driveway.
Okay.
So it's just a matter of, I think, moving a little further with her on that. I got some pictures today online that I'm gonna, if Dory's computer actually will look at them, and maybe she can forward.
Dory, when are you getting your computer?
It's got to be soon. I'll check with Ryan. I mean, geez, it's got to be any day now.
Okay.
Not soon enough.
Why is 16 by 20 overwhelming? It's actually, I think, a pretty big area. And if we want to put equipment there and stuff, I mean,
Brian's concern, I kind of liked it myself, but Brian's concern was depending on where it's placed in that circle. If you want to put chairs there, you want people to sit there and whatnot. It is a good amount of space, 16 by 20. I thought it was a good idea, but she was going to do a couple of different plans for us. She was going to do a 16 by 20. She was going to do an 18 by 16, you know what I mean, to kind of shift it around.
did we talk about putting a bench
You know-
within it so that people can sit in the gazebo? You're all glitchy and frozen.
We didn't get into that detail. It was more the design itself first.
Okay,
After that, it's pretty easy to put benches in there and whatnot. So it was mainly, how big we wanted it, and then from there, that's all smaller stuff. Brian didn't want to make any quick decisions on his own, and neither did I, because obviously the whole commission has to be part of this. But we just said, can you give us, a drawing of what you're proposing? That way we know exactly what we're looking at that point.
okay,
And then as far as the roof goes, it would almost waterfall. So if the lodge is along this way, I think that the gazebo would go that way in a rectangle. So it would almost look like a waterfall effect.
right,
So it would match front to back.
okay. All right, is
So she's going
Are
to
there
drop some
any other-
plans.
there
See what
anything
you can
else in team reports?
Um,
Is there anything else? for-
yeah, I know it's not part of team reports, but the mixer itself. I
Yep.
talked to Bobby Owens today, Dory, on that,
Uh-huh,
and I asked because he was familiar with it because he saw it when he was there,
yeah,
and I asked him what he thought we could get for it, and he said that, to be perfectly honest, he said, he doesn't have any stake in the game. He said he'd just scrap metal it. And if you can get $20, you can get $20. He said he said it's too old for anybody to really want in his eyes. And he's been selling this stuff for years. He said, to be honest with you, it's a boat anchor. And if you can get $10, take $10. He said, because as much as you might think it's worth something, it's really not.
Well, right, we just have, before we can scrap it though, for scrap metal, we do have to follow this procedure, I think, right?
yeah.
We've
We'll
already
just-
done that through the board of selectmen.
Yeah,
They've declared it surplus, and then I can put it on Unisibid once it's declared surplus, and we can put it on there. That's why I put it on the agenda, just to get a price, and we can up the price a bit. If we don't get any bids, hey, we've done our due diligence. We've done
Right.
everything we can.
and at that
and then
point, then
Right.
Then it's up to us to do whatever we want.
what's the salvage company we dealt with the docks?
Just right up the street.
Yeah, what is it?
I remember. I think the other Brian might remember who it is.
Spiegel, is it?
Seagull, thank you, Joan.
Yeah.
I would have expected you people that have lived here your whole lives to know that.
No,
but-
it used to be Casoli's though. When it first opened up as scrap metal, it was under Casoli's name. Then it changed over.
Okay,
So I know I'm skipping the agenda, but do you want me to put it on Municipal for like $50 or $100 and see what we get? Like $100 and see what we get?
yeah,
Not
You
gonna
know?
hurt.
Not gonna hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
somebody
Yeah.
might want it for a boat anchor, you never know.
Well, I kind of like it. I mean, I'm thinking like rather than get $10 for like scrap metal, wouldn't it be fun to even like paint it or just have it as a showpiece, just sitting there? It's not
Right.
hurting anything. It's
put it out-
definitely unique.
To put it outside like a little restaurant or bakery or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know.
Plant flowers.
So, yeah,
good.
it's definitely something. You know, we have
But
something.
Can you put ideas like that on Municipal?
Municipal is just like it's an auction. It's just price this. But if you get if they contact us, then I can talk.
Then you can do your magic.
Yes,
Yes, you can.
yes, absolutely.
All right,
Once we get the hook and the fish.
okay. The last thing on the agenda is Griggs and Brown.
Okay. Griggs, yeah, so anyway, I sent that out to you. I think you saw it. It couldn't compare with Elric. And So I think that we decided, I think the vote was that once we are up and going and we have a need for pest control, I think we'd probably go with Ehrlich.
Okay. Well, my gut tells me that this summer, everything's gonna be up and going again.
Oh, I hope so.
They're bringing the kids back in and more and more places are, gonna start doing that. More people are getting the vaccine, and so I'm going with the idea that we're gonna be pretty well open this summer,
That would be great.
which is great for weddings. Have there been any more inquiries?
There's inquiries now. We had a 50th anniversary party in March that she went to 2022, and she's okay with that. I said they're going to be the 60th before we're all said and done with this. But but yeah, people are positive about 2021. They're thinking, they're calling me now with details as opposed to calling with, do we need to cancel? So I think everybody's getting that positive feeling.
Did that lady bring by decorations?
Yes, she did. So one of that you were kind enough to say that you take off the calendar, and if we sell it, we'll give her money back. Her daughter didn't want anything to do with the decorations because they were for her wedding, and it was, for her fiance that left her. They dropped them off this weekend, and they're beautiful. I'm going to take pictures tomorrow and send them to you. It's all rustic. It's a ton of stuff that she donated to Camp Kiwanee.
Okay, so
Wow.
we have to motion to accept
We
those.
will. Yeah, I'll put that on the next agenda.
Okay,
But-
sounds great.
So nice. Yeah, it really, really was. And so that was great. And then just quickly, I just want to say that Deb Petty came across another grant. It's called Winter Shared Streets. And we were talking about it. And I think what we're going to do is we're looking to get, this is going to be good, for Camp Kiwanee, heaters. And we were thinking, remember that group from Tanzania
Yeah,
that we wanted to do from Thanksgiving all the way to Christmas?
yeah.
Well, if we had heaters in every cabin, and then like propane heaters even, which you can have in every cabin, then we could have had this event. So I put a list together of stuff that we could have if we had this. So we're putting a grant together that's going to be for heaters in all the cabins, North End and South End, and fire pits. And I thought, what about individual little fire pits in front of each cabin? Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
It'd be awesome.
Yeah, the bridal cottage, the 2 electrics, all the cabins in the South End, all the cabins in the North End, and then heaters and I said, listed a whole bunch of stuff that we could do in the wintertime, which we don't do anything because we don't have electricity, we could do. So that we're working on that. So that
Well,
could be
heaters that we
really
could
fun.
even have events outside in the front of the lodge and everything.
Yes, we talked about little heaters that go for about $200, propane heaters in the cabins, and then large heaters that go in front of the lodge on the deck, where
Yeah.
John Zuko would be, and
Mhm.
just keep everybody warm there, and just have experience the camp in the winter.
That would extend our seasons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So so that's a fun one. So
Cool.
that might come through. That'd be big for us.
Sure would.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we've covered a lot.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, just everyone,
Can I ask a question on the mixer, going back to that? I'm sorry. Do we have to vote on anything for her to put it on municipal bid?
That's already
No.
A price or anything? No? Okay.
Yeah, the price. Yeah, I think you just did it. What, $100?
Yeah,
Mhm.
but we don't have to vote on anything. Oh.
Nope.
Okay,
Nope.
that's all I want to know. Okay.
Yep. Thank you.
Brian, did you have? Go ahead, Brian.
yeah, I just got one thing. I talked to Dory earlier about it, and I know for Lord knows how long I've been trying to get policies and procedures back from legal counsel. I've talked to Dory, and I guess Dory can probably attest to her trying to also.
Mm.
I think at this point, with your permission, we have the last one is on the .com page, which I can print up.
Mhm.
The last one that I sent to legal counsel, which absolutely needs to be changed because there was a job in there, that's no longer there.
Right.
I kind of like the permission of the commission to rework the policies and procedures. I can, highlight in red, what was taken out, what was put in, because we have talked, about things in time, and it's been 2-3 years.
Yeah.
And at some point, someone's going to snap.
I think that's a reasonable request, and I think it's a really good idea. That's just my opinion. I'm going to ask, is there anything in our policies and procedures? I realize we can't have RVs. We've already, we're not allowed to have campers or RVs. Is there something in there about horses?
No,
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Okay, so that's strictly then a Board of Health issue.
Yes.
Okay.
Board of Health is, horses and
Right.
dogs.
Dogs? What do you mean dogs? People bring their dogs up to the camp all the
They
time?
walk them all the time.
Yeah, no, they're not, they have the sign for Board of Health. They're not allowed from May 1st to September 30th, something like
Yeah,
that.
but that's during the camping season,
Exactly.
and that's, and they're not allowed on the beach.
Right. Yeah, it's a definitely though, Diane, it's a Board of Health thing. Horses are not allowed. But I mean, that's just a random horse, walking up, nothing to do with, a structured
Program.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I
All
think
right.
they're just saying if they're not allowing dogs in the summer season, they're not going to allow horses.
Okay, I'm gonna call Gil. Not tonight. but
No, and I can talk to Gil. That was just kind of, joking.
Okay. All right then, so our next meeting is the 22nd.
Yeah.
6:30 again?
Well, I'm gonna go with whatever you guys want because, and my son's schedule requires that I will not be able to just be here until 7. I don't have a problem with you starting at 6:30. I think, it's fine because it gets us out early enough and I still can catch up.
Yeah. Perfect.
Think if we need Diane, we can hold until she gets on the.
Yeah.
It's not.
Right.
Right.
We can hold off anything that she might be needing to discuss or put a piece into it.
Or you
Mhm.
can just
Right.
not and leave
Yeah.
me the heck out of everything. And
No.
that's really nice too. All right.
Sounds good. I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Brian. All those in favor, Melissa,
Aye.
Joan Frazzetti,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. Okay, guys, have a good night.
Yep. See you in 2 weeks.
Okay.
See you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. See you tomorrow, Dory.
Okay, see you tomorrow. Thanks.